first, think again, and then act. This is something he said to me and my sister our whole lives. And basically what he means is think about what's happening in the situation, take a minute, think again if you have to, and then act and react based on what's happening. And I think that relates to the quote that I chose, which is, "It is human nature to think wisely and act foolishly," by Anton France. I agree with this quote. I agree with what he says, and my major points are sometimes it's just human nature to react based on our emotions. I think that's really important, an aspect about ourselves that we can't always control. I also think that it's easier to think about what just happened after the fact and go, oh, I should have done this, or I should have acted like this, or that's how I should have responded. And lastly, I don't always think that our minds and our emotions are synced up, and that's why we get in this bad habit. So first, sometimes we just react with our emotions. I think our emotions are super strong, and sometimes they overweigh what is the smartest thing to do and what we should be doing. An example of this would just be, my sister and I fight a lot about sharing clothes. And it's probably the biggest thing we fight about, even though it's so stupid. But an easy thing to do is if I ask her to borrow her shoes and she says no, my first instinct is to say, fine, then don't borrow my this, or fine, you can't take my camera tonight, or whatever it is. And that's my emotional response because I'm getting a little frustrated and stuff. So instead of doing that, I should really just think about like, okay, well, if I keep saying she can't borrow my stuff, then I won't be able to wear hers, and instead we can just like combine our closets, and it would work like that. So that's an example of when our emotions get the best of us. The next point is that it's a lot easier to think in the aftermath, oh, this is how I should have behaved, and I think that's where he says it's easy to think wisely, because you could have a fight with someone, and then you're driving home 20 minutes later and you think, that's what I should have said. Oh my God, that would have been perfect. My mom won't let me go out tonight. I should have told her that I got 3 A's this week in all my tests, and God, that would have been the perfect thing to say, or, you know, whatever it happens to be in that situation. You always think of a better way that you should have responded, or a better way you should have acted and kept your cool after the fact, and that sucks. And then my last point is that our brains and our emotions aren't always synced up, like the first two examples. It's a lot easier to think one way, but then your emotions get in the way and you act another way. And an example of that would be having a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, significant other, whatever it may be. In the moment, you're so emotional and you're so heated, and you think like, God, I hate you, and I can't believe we're fighting about this, and I can't believe you don't see my point of view, when really you're acting all angry, but you don't hate them and you don't want to fight with them. And really, it's not important who wins or loses, it's the way you need to act with them. So, to wrap it up, I completely agree with Anton France, and I think that it's a lot easier, and it's human nature to think smartly and to think, oh, this is the way we should behave, but really you act like a freak.
I like the way you used the opening, the comment from your dad. There's a solid tie into the quote. The secondary issues are laid out very clearly. Internally, you signpost those well. You had a little bit of a pause as you went to each of those particular supporting points. There's a lot of variety in your voice, and you use that variety in a very purposeful way to keep the energy level up. It's easy to, like I said, pick out the transitions because of the way you changed your tone and the emphasis while you were speaking. speaking. There's some natural indicators when you were using gestures. I think you could be a little bit more expansive, but it was fine. The facial expressions, I thought that you did a good job trying to connect with the audience, and while you're distributing your audience contact, you're also distributing the way in which you were expressing yourself to the audience with those expressions, and I like that quite well. You did seem a little limited in your movements on the one spot, basically in body movement, because you're kind of stuck in the one spot. And at the end, I thought it seemed a little bit rushed at the conclusion, but it was a good indicator that the conclusion was here, and I thought that was pretty effective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.